Hello. Don't worry. Hello, everybody. Sorry. Earbuds are falling out. Glasses aren't going to stay on because, that would be rude. And I'm not rude. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not rude. Um, but you know who isn't rude? My guest today. None of my guests have ever been rude, really. It's incredibly nice to talk to the people that I get to talk with. Let me just send Diana a little message. We are in. So I'll tell you what has been happening though. It's a lot. A lot has been happening. We got the coffee today. I'm not a big one on morning coffee. I used to in high school, like it was my jam. I used to go to like the deli in our hometown and get like our favorite one. But I wonder what Jamie Floyd's favorite coffee is. Let's go ask. I want to know. I love to know what like gets people going in the day. Like, what is their favorite thing? So let's find out what Jamie Floyd's favorite thing is.
Hello.
Hello, my curly-haired sister. How are you?
Oh, I am good.
How you doing? Everything's good. Where are you?
I just got back from Alaska last night, so I'm here. I'm here now in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Alaska. I've never been.
Yes.
What were you doing there, if you don't mind me asking?
It was the most transformative, incredible experience of my life. It was incredible. I was there on tour. I was playing the Summer Solstice Festival there at a place called Diamond M Ranch, and it was also a fundraiser for something called Maddie's Farm, which was a little boy who passed away tragically, but they turned that his death into something really positive, and so they have this beautiful farm that takes care of or that has animals and organic, everything, and they help children who are at risk, and they just really give back to the community. So it was really fun to be there for all those shows.
That's incredible. I mean, I have aligned with several charities since I kind of started my work, and I find that charity gives what we do a whole other meaning and purpose. Do you find that as well?
I do. I think that that everyone is given something that can help, someone else. And I think it's what I was given was music, and if I can write a song or give a performance or use the voice that I've been given to help people give what they're supposed to give and help who they're supposed to help, that is super fulfilling. And also it's something I feel like that I'm meant to do with the gift that I've been given,
Yeah, because there's so many ways, in our type of business, our world, like some people do
Mm-hmm.
really great things with their fame, which I find such a weird word. Um, and then some people slack off a little bit, but you haven't been, and your music is just like on another
Oh,
level. It's been on the
oh,
Spotify, like do 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 do.
well, thank you. Thank you so much. I just, I actually put out a new album in November that's actually not on Spotify. I'm part of a lot of the other album. My first album is, and I'm so proud of that one. But I lately have been helping to fight for songwriters' rights in Washington, and we were able to help pass the MMA bill. But unfortunately, we're still, going back and forth with Spotify, and hopefully we can find some resolution. But kind of to stand with my community and everything. I have my new album on Apple Music. It's called New Girl. So I'm excited to have that out there too. And I've been working so hard as an independent artist, and you know what that's like. We just have to hustle in the entertainment business, and
I have to
and so
tell
I'm
you.
doing the best I can.
Well, you speaking of hustling, I'll tell you my method, how my mind went to Spotify.
Ah.
I get it for free at Starbucks where I work a part-time job.
Oh, man.
So
Oh, hey.
I
You're
was like, you
like,
know what?
so that.
I was like, I will take that pound of free coffee. Give me that pound of, oh, the sound. Did you hear that sound? It was like,
Yeah,
I
yeah, what
don't,
was that?
I have no idea. It was the sound from God knows where. But what I was saying was at Starbucks, I have been going and grabbing my pound of coffee that I get a week, and why not? And I'll take the songs, but I do like Apple Music a lot.
Yes, I do too. I do too. And you know, I think these days streaming is it. We gotta find our music where we can, and that's kind of the new technology. And I'm on board for that. I believe in being fair to the creators, who we wouldn't have all these mediums if it weren't for the creators, right? So
For
I think
sure.
it's important to kind of use my voice and help stand up for our community. But by the way, are you in Long Island?
I am.
Island. That's where all my family is from. All
Oh,
my grandparents, everybody. They're in Westbury. So
that's literally maybe 15 minutes, 10 minutes.
oh,
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
It's nice. Um, it's nice. I love Long Island. It's always been my home. No matter where I go, I always turn, up like a bad penny. But I kind of now am very much a resident of the world. Like wherever the world and the work leads me, I will, I will go. Where has been
Yeah.
one of the most amazing places that you've gotten to travel because of music?
I would say Paris is probably one of my favorite places that music has taken me. I was in London to work on Lucy Silvas's new record, and she's an incredible artist that had her career take off in Europe, and since she's moved to America and made just a huge impact on country music and just music in general here, both as a songwriter and as an artist. And I was there in London to work with her and another just world-class songwriter named John Green, who wrote actually Lady Antebellum's, or Lady A, they're Lady A now, Lady A's latest number one single. And so these friends of mine, I've just been cheering them on over the years. But anyway, we found ourselves in London, and we had written a few songs for Lucy's new album. And to celebrate, she was like, let's go to Paris for the weekend.
Oh,
And here I am thinking I'm just here to work in London, and I'm already jet lagged, so I kind of don't know where I am to begin with. And I was just in work mode, and we got to go to Paris, and we took the car in the tunnel under the water, and we spent the weekend, and it was in the springtime, and so I'm standing in front of the Eiffel Tower in the spring, just going, how did I get here? But music has certainly open doors in my life that I'm so grateful for, and I've had the most incredible experiences because of it. Alaska being one of them, having just been there. That's probably the closest thing to Paris. Probably Alaska and Paris are pretty close now that I've experienced both. So,
Ironically, I've never experienced both of them, but for me, I have traveled to some incredible places. I've been to Marseille, France. That was gorgeous.
oh,
But I found recently, I filmed a movie in Knoxville, Tennessee, I want to say about 3 or 4 years ago, with the late, great Burt Reynolds. And I just found myself when I was there, because I'm a singer first. Like before acting really came into play in my world, it was very much heavy influences of Patsy Cline and Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. And so when I got to work with Burt, I remember being in Knoxville, and I felt incredibly connected to the music when I was there.
well, thank you.
Yeah.
I got to be in Knoxville for a day on that shoot, the same thing, and I'd never been in a movie. And by the way, I was so just in awe of your work. I
Oh
just
gosh.
your work in that movie was just some of my favorite. It's just some of my favorite moments. And of course, having done all the music for it, I was like getting to see constant, all the work being done on it and all of your performances over and over again. And I just had a huge appreciation for it. And I love that we both got to be around him and got to, experience that incredible process. We were there the day that they shot the airport scene in the Knoxville airport.
Yes, I think that was either before or after I left or came. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because all of our scenes were up in that bar.
Yeah.
And like, I don't
Yeah.
forget the name of it, but it was like 100 degrees. And
Oh, oh my God.
yes,
I can't, we were lucky because our scene told us, they were like, you have one shot, Bert's going to do this in one take. So like, we just had one take and we were done. But you, having filmed all those scenes and so much of the bulk of the movie, I'm sure, or at least it seemed as though the bulk of it, so much of it happened there that, I don't know how you did it, but I know
the
it's so
funny
hot.
This was the funny part. Adam Rifkin, our director, was
Yeah.
like, I hear him go, cut to Nikki. She's getting emotional, right? And I was, because Burt was doing like this big monologue, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so moved. But
Yeah.
I was also sweating like a fiend. So
Yeah.
it looked like I was crying, but it was really just sweat beads.
Oh
Yeah, so I mean, Adam thinks I gave this really great performance, and I guess, but I also was just sweating a lot.
no. You were like, oh my gosh, that's such a funny story. I love that. Yeah, that gosh, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall for all of that, or maybe not. I would
Oh
have
my
just
gosh. And then I found myself one night at 2 o'clock in the morning walking through the Crystal Burger drive through with Clark Duke.
Are you serious?
Yes, we walked through the drive.
I love that. And I love him. And
Oh, I love him so much.
everything worth it. I wish I could have been there for that too. Oh
Oh my
man.
gosh.
I love it. That was some of the best times of my life that year. I loved being a part of that. And I'm so glad. I feel like you and I were you in New York for the Tribeca Film Festival
I
debut?
was. I
Yeah.
was. I don't
I
know
did.
what happened. Like, I was told about it, but I wasn't told what time the premiere was. So it
Yeah.
kind of just like came and went. And so did my chance to meet Robert De Niro, which I was kind of heartbroken about. But
Yeah.
it'll happen. I'm not worried.
It'll come back around. Yeah. I just
Next
I
Wednesday.
exactly. I loved what you did with that movie, and so I'm glad we're finally face to face in one way or another.
It was well, thank you. And I'm glad too because the music was so brilliantly written and so gorgeous. Where did you pull inspiration from for that music?
Well, I really connected. So I had my co-writer and partner on that movie and all the music that we wrote is my friend named John Martin, and John and I think both pulled personal experiences into creating all of those songs. And for me, I'm actually from Burt's hometown. So we actually went to the same high school. And so, I mean, nobody knew that when I got brought on to help write the music. But I really related to Burt's story and his just the storyline of his career in that he um, it was always an uphill climb for him, and he would get these roles or he would turn down these huge roles, and just his whole story about how even when people kind of treated him like he was over and like he had peaked, um, that he would not take no for an answer and that he didn't accept that, and to just see someone who was this living legend and who had made such an impact in his field to kind of be discounted after doing what he had done and after accomplishing what he accomplished was just was first of all was inspiring to see him stand up to that and go, no matter how old I am, no matter what people are saying about me or not saying about me, I'm going to keep going and I still have something to give. I took all of that and I actually the very first night that John, my co-writer, told me, hey, they're Burt Reynolds, they're making this movie with Burt Reynolds. Do you want to try and write a song for it? He sent me the script and kind of just gave me the quick breakdown. And I started in on a song called I Ain't Dead. And I started to write the music to what we would write for the song called I Ain't Dead. And it ended up not being in the score, but it ended up being a part of the whole process of the movie. And it's what got us the job. And the song says, this is for my enemies who think they've seen the best of me. Don't fill my grave with the glory days. I suggest you leave some space because I am not dead yet. And that's what the song says. And I feel
Oh
like
my God, I want to sing this song.
let's do it. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like I'm not over yet. And I think that Burt knew that and he put that into his performances, and I wanted to put that into as I could, that it is not over yet. And the song that did close the movie, a song called Yet to Come, we talked about how the best is yet to come and how you have to believe that no matter where you've been or where you're going, that you have to know that in your heart. And that's such a huge part of, I think, everybody's journey. And we forget it along the way, and then we remember it at points. And when we were writing the song for that movie, it was a time when I was remembering that, you know, and the whole process of making that movie showed me that that was true. You know, I mean, I was waiting tables full time and writing an entire movie soundtrack. I mean, okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The best was yet to come. It really was. And so it just changed my life. And to be able to write songs that were so, that we could be so vulnerable in, and that we could kind of inject that message into those songs as freely and as intensely, or as just to be able to write songs and have no boundaries, which is what they allowed us to do with that film, was inspiration in and of itself, right? And then of course Bert's life and what he was trying to do and continue to do is what inspired I think the depth that we were able to achieve with those songs. And I just feel really lucky that they all ended up where they did in the movie. And
Well, you can feel them. I mean, you can feel these songs when they're sung. And I remember watching the movie. This is the only time, Jamie, that I have cried at one of my own movies.
oh,
I've
wow.
never cried at one of my movies. I sat there, my best friend Gino, in like the front row, looking up at the screen, and we sat there holding hands for the last 20 minutes. Did nothing but cry and hold each other, because
Oh,
being a part of that movie as an actor and having people tell me you're a one-hit wonder, or you're done, your time's up. No, it's not. And so when I saw Bert's character rise again and and Bert was the ultimate underdog. He kept going back in the fight every time the business counted him out. And I have had so many. One of my favorite things was on the set of that movie. I'd be going to my trailer in the morning and I'd hear, Nikki! And it was Burt. He would be calling me every morning. He would have me in his trailer and he would sit there and he would sign Deliverance and Bandit memorabilia and just give it away to the cast and crew, because he was just such a wonderful man. So I think for me, getting to work with him is a highlight of my life.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Bert he gives the Bert experience, you
Yes.
know, to everyone he comes in contact with. And I remember my favorite moment with him was he and I got to do like a radio like press junket for when the movie was coming out. And we
Yeah.
were in Jupiter, Florida, and we were put in this a studio, like a recording studio within the radio station, and different DJs would come in and sit with us and do the interview. And so of course Bert would speak about the film and answer all the questions, and then I would play the music. And he would sit there and just have the craziest stories about, you know, Frank Sinatra and Elvis and
Yes.
right.
I got
And
them all. Yes.
yes, he would tell them all, and he would add different details and like remember certain things for all the different interviewers. And what my favorite moment was when I was gonna play the song called One Night that you'll hear me sing in the scene where Ariel's character is in the bathtub and she's
Mhm.
looking at naked Burt, where she sees, you know, Burt in his famous pose and magazine thing that he did. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh,
just,
I know, the rug. I
yeah,
know.
exactly, drug. And the song that ended up being in that scene was a song called One Night. And, we all, of course, know the history with Sally Field and his heartbreak over her. And that day, he really went into his feelings about that in some of the interviews, which was very raw and powerful to sit there and hear this man talk about the love he had for her. And that's what One Night was inspired about. One person can change your life in one night, you know?
Yeah.
And I played One Night, and Burt I played it obviously during this one interview that we were doing, and I was playing it, and he was looking at me the entire time after giving the interview about Sally. Um, and I dedicated it to him in that moment because I said, you know, you changed my life, you know, in one movie. He's
Yeah.
changed a lot of people's lives in
Yes.
movies, and he changed mine with this one. And he was looking right at me the whole time, and he held my hand after, and he was like, "You're gonna do it, kid. You're gonna do it." And it was just such a beautiful moment, and I just couldn't believe it. You know, moments like that when they happen to you in your career. You work for so many years, you wait tables, you work at Starbucks, do you do what you've got to do, and you sacrifice, and you don't give up for moments like that where Burt Reynolds is sitting in a room with you listening to you sing a song, you know.
Yes.
And just kind of validating that for you to have that legend like look at me and go, thank you for that, was really beautiful. And gosh,
Well, it
you're really,
also it tells you that you're in the right place and you're
yeah,
on the right path, you know,
right,
because if these people are in your path, then you know you're doing something right and you're putting out good energy into the world. And I could just see, you know, because people don't realize life is very much what you put into it, you will get out. So if
right,
you put good out there, you can hopefully expect to get some back. But if you're just like a yucky person, then
right.
I mean, it's going to
Yeah,
be a little rough for you.
I agree. I think, I mean, it sounds cliche, but I think hard work does pay off, and the energy that you put out into the world eventually comes back around in other forms, you know.
Yes.
That may be, the form may be in an opportunity or in some kind of blessing you didn't expect, or whatever it comes back as, or as a person or an action, you know, that
Mhm.
changes your life. And I think, yeah, to end up just at all on your career path in a room with a legend like Burt made me feel like, okay, you know, I must have done something
Right. Well,
must have done something right to experience a beautiful person like him, you know.
well, like you said, it only takes one person. For me, it was one song. It was one song that I heard when I was a little girl. And it was
Wow.
Stop in the Name of Love Before You. Oh, yeah. So that was the song when I think I was like 3 or 4 that I heard, and I was like, I have to sing. Was there a song like that for you? Or,
Oh yeah. I gosh, there were I was obviously hugely impacted by music because here I am writing it. Here I am, you know.
yeah,
Um, I would say that for me, the song that made me sing first, you know, that made me want to sing, and that I actually sang first was I loved The Wizard of Oz, you know. And so we have baby videos of me singing. There's two songs, but that one, singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and just being so enchanted by it and
yeah,
so into it. Like for a little baby, like a 2-year-old, to be so captivated,
captivated.
yeah, and connected to it. Like I watch those videos back and I'm like, well, of course.
Yeah,
Of course you were going to be roped into this after that. And then the other song would be, I loved Snow White. And this song has been very ironic in terms of like, in my life I've always gone back to this song, and it was Someday My Prince Will Come, you know, from Snow
mhm.
White. And so those two songs were so emotional and so beyond my little 2 and 5-year-old self. But
Yes.
those were so inspiring and affected me on such a level before I could even know to relate to them or anything, which is just so powerful. And music, that's what music does, you know, and it certainly changed my life. And I love that I love that song, that's such a cool song to have to be your song. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I don't know why, but like I find myself I'm one of those people that I will send my friends songs throughout the day.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the Nikki Knights group chat. I drive my team insane because if I feel inspired, I'm going to send it to them.
Want to
Uh,
share it? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and so I God knows what is playing, but it usually starts with that. And but I've always just felt this need to share music or create music, and it's gotten me to work with some incredible people that I never thought would be possible. Like when I like, are you on Cameo?
I'm not.
Okay,
Do
so
I need to be? I need to
yes,
be.
I'll give you a referral code. We'll get you on Cameo. We'll get you all set up. I have the perfect girls to help you. So I'm on Cameo, and I'll start it off with a Hairspray tune, and I'll see my name
Yeah.
next to John Travolta, and I'm like, huh. You know, it's so, I mean, and I'm writing in my book now, my chapter about John. I mean, he is such a mentor for me. Who has been somebody that you've worked with, if maybe in this business with, that has kind of taken you under their wing or been a mentor in some way?
Yeah. Well, as far as my songwriting career, so a few years ago, I got a chance to write with this writer for the first time. But what's significant about that is he is the songwriter of my favorite song, which is "I Can't Make You Love Me," which was first made famous by Bonnie Raitt. But like everyone, of course, has sang it and made it. You know, it's just one of the greatest songs of the time, I think. And two incredible writers wrote that song, a songwriter named Mike Reed and then another songwriter named Alan Champlin, and I love them both, and I've got to spend time with both of them. But Alan I got to sit down and write with Alan a few years ago for the first time, and he just became this just kind of like little Buddha for me in the songwriting world, because he literally had fought his way and fought for his career, and then has created songs that the world will never stop singing. He wrote Miranda Lambert's "The House That Built Me," obviously wrote "I Can't Make You Love Me." He's written just songs that'll knock you over consistently and that have changed people's careers.
Yeah, sure.
And then the fact that he saw something in me was so full circle for me, because this is the person who in part inspired me to do what I'm doing. And he and I ended up writing a song with our friend Mark Beeson called "The Blade," and that got me my first Grammy nomination. So what's been so insane to have somebody like that as a friend and to look up to and hear firsthand how discouraged he was, how discouraged he was at points, and what he did to overcome that and what he did in the face of that. And then to not only get to hear that and have him kind of coach me along and encourage me, but then to have success with him, us together, was another one of those moments where I went, yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm here. I was meant to be on this path. And it was funny because he was part of my life before he realized he was. Yeah. And then he was in front of me. He was my friend, so to have his song lead me all the way to him as a mentor was incredibly fateful. And I knew that was
I feel like you're literally reading the chapter of my book that I just wrote about John. I'm not kidding.
Really?
Because this is exactly everything that I say about him. It's that I had no idea that watching Grease and Saturday Night Fever and listening to Summer Nights, that I would be dancing with him on a street at 3 a.m. and matching dresses. Like, what? But I mean, that's just a whole sentence in itself. But I mean, but you get to these places in life, and it is true. Hard work, determination. With me, it's a lot of relentlessness. I'm just relentless, Jamie. I won't give up. It's not in me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think relentless is the perfect word. I love that so much. And I can relate to that so much. And I'm so happy that you're relentless, because I think you have more John Travolta moments ahead of you, and you have to, because of how relentless you're going to be, and
from your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah. I really believe that. And I think that, that we just have to, one of my like mantras and something that I've started to do, after after a yoga and meditation teacher introduced this to me. She's wonderful. She has a place called the Ivy House here in Nashville. It's like this little like oasis. And her name's Corinne, and she kind of lives by this, and now I do too. And she's like, every day you should expect a miracle. And so literally wake up in the morning and know that in some form or in some small, large, humongous, tiny way today that I'm going to experience a miracle. And no day has come without one, you know? And so that's just,
Well, Jamie,
way to go.
I honestly, I have to tell you, I feel the same way, and I feel like I did experience one today because you are just, yes, you are so, we connected on a different level because the last movie star and music, I just think there's an unspoken, you know, it's just there. And when there's good vibes out there and good people, they find a way to each other. So I think I experienced one today. I think you are a gem, and I thank you for sharing your gift and putting it on a movie soundtrack because I wish I try and write music and I've just now I'm writing a book, but but for me it means a lot that you were able to take feelings and emotions that clearly were portrayed on screen and then put a beautiful soundtrack to it for us. And so thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your talent and for never giving up, because our paths would have never crossed if you had, you know? So,
yep. Well, I can say the same to you.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much for this opportunity to talk to you. And I've loved it. I've loved every second.
Me too. My pleasure. And I would love to sing with you again one day.
Oh, I would love that.
Maybe another movie soundtrack. I've been getting very click happy over here. I wrote another movie pitch during the quarantine, so I'll send it over to you.
I am ready. Send it over. I am not scared. I would love that.
You got it. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, I'll see you soon. Thanks, girl.
Bye. Thanks. The internet is tricky, but Jamie figured it out, and so did I, apparently, a couple of steps behind her. But it's true. Everything I said about Jamie, her beautiful voice, and she just lends soundtrack to our movie that just moves you. And you guys, seriously, when I watched The Last Movie Star, it was my first project of mine that I cried and just lost it. So, Burt, this is for you. We love you. We miss you. I'm going to try not to cry, but you know I'm going to go do it anyway as I go listen to some Jamie Floyd. Thank you. Sending you all love and light. Bye.